United States capital. And if needs be, we also should, go after the port and blockade it, of course. Because you never know. Because they got, a lot of subs, destroyers, carriers. Yeah. So that would be kind of something that needs to happen. And we're not really well known for our... well, we probably could hold out a little bit. I don't know how much. But, pretty much surround either Washington or move their capital from Washington into somewhere more inland and surround that capital instead, their temporary capital, and pretty much just wipe out the United States military by having them run out of supplies. So that's another thing that we would be trying to do. So let's move some troops from Ottawa to Windsor, and I'm sure I probably pronounced that wrong. And since it's only like 3 military here, they'll and these guys will come back to the United States if U.S. takes that last victory point province, and then they'll revert back into U.S. military. And that's mostly militia and garrison anyways. It's not like really too much to worry about. And most of the United States military is, I would guess, militia. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they drafted some regular infantry. Sorry, I was just trying to think of that word. Alright, you can see here what's going on in Europe. Looks like the Commune France. Fulfill their requests in Central America. Looks like they're trying to recruit some people in. Even the Union of Britain, but they're still not part of the alliance, which is kind of cool. And very convenient. And I don't know what the US is doing right now. They're just... I guess they're just trying to clean up as much as they can. Some militia, infantry, artillery, militia, infantry. So it's mostly infantry with some militia combined. Which, in my opinion, the only good thing for militia is just to suppress partisans. And anything else is just, whatever. That's just my opinion, though, of course. I mean, I think militia is just a waste of manpower. If it's not, trying to maintain your maintain a partisan suppression. If I can say that word. Alright, let's... 60. That's 120. It's not like I'm really, going to get any manpower out of it. Just to be safe, I'll just recruit that much. And then leave the others in reserve. Let's see. Agricultural, I can't really increase that any further without having a very slow research. Sorry, just readjusting the mic. Alright, let's increase our industrial efficiency by 5. No, I can't declare war. I'm still an authoritarian democrat, but And now it looks like they're gonna go after the Great Falls and finally annex the CSA. And in the Civil War, we'll pretty much be over with. Unless they go after New England and the PSA. And so far we're in March, going at about 6 frame rates per second. Which is, oh so fast. Not really. Oh, the IEDC investment improving the transport network. So we get a little increase in supply distance modifier, which is nice. by 1%, and the transport capacity modifier by 1%, which is this little thing here. That makes supplying your troops much more efficient. And then, alright, speaking of which, speaking of war, here's, wow. Here's the Kingdom of Spain pushing back the Carlist. Usually it's the other way around from what I've always seen. But that's kind of cool. The Carlist does need to be annexed if they lose this province, which is their capital, and Locorno, which is always the most pain in the ass province to get when you're playing in the Spanish Civil War at any time. Because once they're like the military is all like just stacked there, it's pretty much just a pain in the ass. Unless you can like just somehow overwhelm their numbers. It's just that one little pain in the ass province. So it looks like Kingdom of Spain is pushing back the Carlist, but the anarcho-socialist or the anarcho-syndicalist are actually moving from the east and pushing a little bit further west into Castile y Leon. Alright. Other parts of the world. Here's the Commune of France. Hello, Commune. With their big military strength. Wow. That's gonna be a pain in the ass. I mean, granted, they're 146, 122, and I'm only what 70, 60. Yeah. And then you also have National France down here. You know, they're not that powerful. Yeah. So yeah, the inconvenient part of the whole thing. Alright. And then even in Britain, not that powerful really, but they're still a decent threat. Okay, so, and then you got Germany over here, of course. You know, they're still as powerful as one can get. And then you got Bohemia, which is kind of looks kind of cool. You know, you got Austria surrounding Bohemia. Alright, so we got an upgrade. That's nice. And you can see a lot of bombing runs here. And Russia had looks like they're getting their little increase in industrial capacity, which I'm sure is well needed, as you can see here. They're not as powerful as they used to be. If they had Ukraine and the Don Kuban Union, and even Turkestan, I'm sure they'll be more of a threat than ever before. Even when they lost Siberia, Siberia is one of those, you know, whatever provinces, but you can see, I'm sure Russia could probably use them. And you got the Ottoman Empire, which is in Istanbul, which is quite interesting, because you would think that the creators of the mod, if they would continue the Ottoman Empire, that would keep the capital of Constantinople. You know, I mean, they only did change it after World War I. So, I don't know, just one of those little nitpicky things, you know. I still call it Constantinople. I'm sure if I ever visit Turkey and I go to Constantinople, I will say Constantinople. I don't think the Turks would mind. I mean, you know, I don't call it Constantinople. It's not Istanbul. I mean, come on. But I don't know. It's just one of those just one of those arguments. Just, you know, just one of those annoying arguments that you can make. All right, so the United States has reduced the CSA to no factories whatsoever, and so now the CSA cannot supply their military any longer. They are factoryless. They have no industrial capacity whatsoever, so they are pretty much defeated. The only thing that's missing is a I surrender moment. So I still have my little military here gathered in Westdor. You know, just making sure that the United States doesn't declare war on me. I'm sure they could if they wanted to. I mean, we got decent relations with them, but you never know, because even at 60 plus, plus 60, it's still, well, anything can happen. So they can go from plus 60 to negative 200 in an instant. So you always gotta watch out for that. It's not easy to trust people in this game. Okay, let's see, Middle Europe, Entente, old useless ships. Okay, there are some old ships in our fleet that are converted for civilian use, and at the end of the Weltkrieg, before the revolution in the home isles, now they are old and inefficient, and they have been given back to the control of the Royal Navy. There are one short-range light cruiser, one short-range destroyer, and one transport ship. You could keep them, but it would be more advantageous to either sell them or scrap them. They could still be useful. They could. However, let's sell them the Caribbean. Yay, the Caribbean bought our ships for 100 money and 100 supply. So, there you go, Caribbean Isles. You have a little bit improved navy. just ever so bit more. Alright. Alright, so now the United States officially annexes the CSA, which ends the U.S. Civil War, which is nice, I guess. The only downside to it is that the government stays parental autocrat with Douglas MacArthur in charge. And New England also stays within our alliance, and the PSA is still left alone, which I will have to happily influence too, since they do have California, which is a little bit more industrialist, and which is, I do believe, one of the industrial parts of the United States, not including, of course, the Illinois area and the far northeast of the northeastern part of the United States. So, alright, so Russia's